Hello guys, my name is Arun and welcome to my channel. Now this series is a series of tutorials on LaTeX programming. Now in today's video, or in this video, we'll see how to do some document formatting. What I mean by document formatting is not much in detail, nothing of a big thing. We'll be adding we'll be seeing some commands that will be very useful by adjusting the size and shape of the documents and adding little more features into the documents quite nicely. And these will be mostly non-mathematical based, but let's see how let's go about with that. Okay, first of all, in document formatting, let's look at this option called as spacing. Now what we do by spacing is that we can adjust the space in the documents by making some alterations into the document. For instance, if we want more space than what is already available in a document, then it's possible to do using this backslash symbol like what we saw last time. So it's like backslash space, backslash space, backslash space, backslash space. You give like 5 backslash spaces here, and if you look at this and over here, this option, check it out, you have more space over here. This way you are in a position to force some spacing between the text as per your choice. This could be required sometimes. And sometimes, let's say you want to have a very large space, instead of just fine-tuning spaces like this by adding one space after the other, okay, you can adjust the space by including a large horizontal space using this command hspace. Now what this hspace does is that it will give you a reasonable amount of space horizontally, and how long is the space is defined by this notation over here. Now in this command hspace, what I've done is that I've included a space of 5 centimeters from the left margin, and as a consequence, if you look at here, you have a big space over here, and this is actually a 5 centimeter space margin. Okay, and this is horizontally. Suppose if you want space vertically, it is again possible. Now for the vertical space, what you have to do is that you just have to use this command vspace. Now what this vspace does is that it just like horizontal space, it gives a spacing in the document whose length is given by that value inside. So here the vertical spacing in the document is actually 2 centimeters. Okay, and next thing is that hfill. What hfill does is that it makes sure that the document it makes sure that the sentence you write is aligned from the right, okay, by filling the horizontal spaces. For instance, if I were to run this, if you look at it, it just fills all the contents from the right hand side. If you don't believe me, add more contents. For instance, if I were to write hfill command, okay, and I haven't used this over here, and just watch. If I were to run this, you see this hfill part, it fills from the right hand side, from the right margin. Hspace is used to fill from the left margin. Okay, it is used to give space from the left margin, and hfill is used to write the contents from the right margin, fill the contents from the right margin like this. So this can be used depending on the places, depending on your choice of place. Okay, especially when you're writing letters, and if you want to put the address and everything to the rightmost edge or something, this could be very useful. Okay, that's about spacing. And then let's look at some document symbols. Document symbols, they're not much in detail. All we saw last time is in most of the documents, symbols we saw did come from mathematical symbols. Okay, and some special symbols. Okay, here we're not including much. We're just going to include a little few details like quotations, dash symbols, and everything. Dash symbols. Okay, for that, let's see how to do it. If you want to do quotations in LaTeX, it's very simple. You just have to use the single quote twice, and now if you do the single quote twice, okay, what you'll have you'll have quotation marks starting something like this. You see, you should start something, it will start something like this if you use a single quotation. Okay, similarly, so if you enclose a string or enclose a sentence in a single quotation like this one, this is how the quotation goes by. Okay, and if you enclose this in double quotation, Okay, instead of using 2 single quotes, if you use double quotes, it's exactly the same. Okay, but sometimes sometimes you may want the quotations to invert laterally. Invert laterally. For that you might need to use something called as reverse quotes. For instance, if you look at these quotes over here, both of them have the quotes with bulk with a dot on the top and the curve, and the quote curved towards the left. Okay, this way. What if I just want the quote such that the dot is at the bottom and the curve is towards the top right? Okay, like this one. If I want that to happen, I have to use the reverse quotes. That's about it. And this way you're having some kind of an inner closing nice quotes that match nicely and close nicely, complementary to each other. Okay, and suppose if you want a long dash to be present, you just have to use three minus symbols continuously. Okay, and that way you produce a long dash. Suppose if I were to just use a 2 dash, and it'll also produce a dash, but not fine, but that's okay. But if you use the triple dash, it will just produce a longer dash. And sometimes if I were to produce, say, let me go crazy and produce more dashes, will it help? Yes, it does help. It just makes a large number of dashes as per your choice. So you can just use as many dashes as you want, minus signs you want, to make a dash properly, or a hyphen depending on the case. Okay, and if you want to use the text symbol and the LaTeX symbol, like that is available whenever you check in the internet, that symbol is also available, and that is given by this /tech with the T and X capitals, and this symbol LaTeX with L, T and X in capital. Okay, this can be useful. And one more thing we have to remember is that sometimes we may have to underline text. For underlining text, the command that you have to use is \underline. So, and what you do is that just put \underline, and within the curly braces write the sentence that you want to underline. Okay, and that part will be underlined like this one. Okay, and sometimes you may want to use an overhead and underhead symbol, like an overhead brace or an underhead brace, like these, especially in mathematical notations. For those to happen, you just write over brace command for a brace on the top, an under brace command for the brace on the bottom, and if you want both of them together, just use over brace and under brace sandwiched inside each other like this, so that you have both of them fit nicely. Okay, and that's about document symbols. And let's go to another section called as document sections, wherein we'll be dividing the documents into different sections. Already we saw in one of the previous tutorials, we saw how to make sections, subsections and subsections. Okay, today what we'll see is that we'll see how to make other options like footnotes. Now, to make a footnote is very simple. What you have to do, just type your content as per your choice, and then you put \footnote, and then to write the whatever you want in the footnote, just write the contents within the footnote command. So just write \footnote and then write your contents like this, and that's about it. And when you run the command, okay, your footnote will be numbered over here, and whatever you wrote over here comes at the footnote over here. Simple enough. And to write paragraphs and to write a paragraph, just write normally. Okay, use paragraph command to name it. For instance, this is actually paragraph 1. I use this command to name the paragraph, like this one, para 1. Simple as that. Nothing complicated, just a paragraph name. But reminder, this may not come in your this symbol. I mean, if you name your paragraph like this, it will not come in the sectioning, or will not come in the table of contents that you might come on the top. Similarly, if you want to write a subparagraph, it is again possible with the title. It's again possible using this command subparagraph, and that's it. These are just used for just titles alone, nothing much. And you have other option like the subparagraph with a star and a paragraph with a star. Let's see, I haven't checked it much. You won't get much of a difference. Okay, although there might be some subtle difference, I'm not sure, I'm not aware of it, but mostly nothing big, nothing much. So you can have a look at these. Okay, you can have a look at these, not a problem. And then next what you have is that let's see quotes. Suppose if you want to write quotation marks inside, not within the single quotes or double quotes, but if you want to write a quote like some words said by somebody, or told by somebody like that, or a dialogue of somebody like that, okay, you can use the quotes environment function like this. Okay, you have two options like a quote and then a quotation. Well, quote is actually used for a short piece of quotation, whereas this quotation is used for a very long one, maybe a paragraph, something like that. So how to write is just write it between begin quote and end quote, and whatever you write, and that's about it. That's simple as that. And similarly, if you want to write a big quotation mark, a big quotation, what you do is just write the quotation and within big quotes like this. And the difference you might notice is that a single quote will have only a small tabbing, whereas a quotation will have a larger tabbing. And then we'll go for that's about it. And if you want to write a very few lines of quotation, use quote. And if you want to write a big paragraph quotation like that, a big paragraph something, you just use quotation. Simple as that. Okay. And also let's look at poetry. Now for those people out there who like to write poetry and all, there's this option called as begin verse. Okay. Environment command called as begin verse, and write the begin verse within that. Write your poetry, nice poetry as per your choice, and then what will happen is that you'll just tab the environment nicely, and then you'll have writings like these. Okay, and if you don't tab it properly, I mean it will give a tab nice like this, and okay, and it's better you put a two backslash symbols like that, so you have a line break, and this tabbing is actually taken care by the begin verse command. Okay, and that's about poetry and nothing big. And if you want to write that poet's name, just use hfill as of now, and write that poet's name. And as a consequence, this is the poem over here. Okay, let me sing this a little bit. This is the poem over here, and this is the poet's name over here. That's kind of comes like this. Okay, not bad. And then you have an option, and then finally we will be looking at one more topic called as description. Now what is a description is that you just if you want to explain a few terminologies, let's say, or a set of definitions, you want to give a set of definitions, and you might write them in a kind of a list like a format, like, okay, so if you want that to be possible, use this description over here. Now how is it done? It's simple. Just write begin description and end description, and just like how we wrote bullets using enumerate option last time, you write them like that. And the description for the term for which you have to describe it, give this option. You write it in square brackets and write the term. Like for instance, stark. If I want to explain that, I can write the house with the sigil dire wolf, like that. Suppose if you have another title, and if you want to explain that, give a definition over here. And if you want another title term over here, you can give the definition like here, and give them within square brackets. That's important. Okay, and you can effectively replace this, do this option with enumerate as well. But there's this thing. When you do with enumerate, what happens is that the formatting slightly alters. The first thing, these definitions won't come in bold font, bold face like this. You have to manually do the bold facing. Okay, and then if you look at the arrangement, look at the formatting. Okay, the definitions are all aligned from the left, the terms are all aligned from the left, and the definition starts immediately without any arrangement. Whereas in enumerate, if you do the same option, okay, based on the largest value, based on the longest string or something, okay, they are all aligned like this, and then the definitions are all aligned properly, and then these are the enumeration topics, the topics that you want to discuss, they are like aligned from the right. It's like they are aligned from the right. So this is how it is. So these two are repeatable, okay, but there's a small difference you have to keep in mind. So if you want to use description mode, this will be beneficial. Okay, if you want the font, or if you want if you want everything to be present in the description kind of mode, use this. If you want them to be available in the enumerate mode like this, if you want this kind of format, use the enumerate. If you want this kind of format, use description. That's about it. And in the next tutorial we will see a little more of a complicated options regarding regarding mathematical notations. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.